afternoon and you see the red box up in the corner, you're catching me live, drop me a 1, say hello, let me know where you're coming in from. If you catch us on the replay, drop me hashtag replay, let me know that I missed you so I can come back and say hello. So I decided to pop on quick because I was doing some thinking this morning, this afternoon, re-listened to a podcast I listened to the other day, listened to another podcast that one of my leaders had sent me that was actually dovetailing into what I'd listened to the other day, and just kind of thinking through some like future planning, and wanted to just share some of the things that I was thinking about around like finding your passion and your purpose. And also wanted to tell you a story about spiders, which is totally irrelevant to passion and purpose, but sort of tells you a little bit more about me because it's important for you to know me. So for those who don't know me, I'm Kristen. I am from Waterbury, Connecticut. I am a nurse by trade. I've done a lot of different things in my life. I'm a stroke survivor. I'm a lot of things. I've also been told among the years, and this was something that I actually responded to a post about this morning on LinkedIn, that I am too loud. I am too vocal. I am a lot of things, right? So whatever. And I've finally come into my own that usually if I'm speaking up, it's about something important. Sometimes my Irish temper gets in the way and I speak too quickly. I've learned to kind of tamp that down. But usually if I say something, I generally mean it. I don't generally speak out of turn. And so it is what it is. But when it comes to finding your passion in something or finding something you're passionate about, and that's something that I think most people have said to me over the years, like, when I'm passionate about something, you know it, because I speak about it, I talk about it a lot, I am very vocal. If you can relate to that, if you have ever been told you're passionate, or if you've ever felt very passionate about something, just drop a heart in the comments. So, or if you've ever been told you're too loud, or you speak too much, or any of the things that I just described, drop an emoji in the comments. I think the funny thing is that over the course of my life, I've tried to figure out what my like purpose is, what it was I put on this earth to do. And I've always enjoyed helping others. Since I was a kid, have helped to take care of sick family members. I have been the one who was sort of like the mom of my friend groups. Like, I've always been the caregiver type. Avoided being a nurse for many, many years, and then went to nursing school later. So that was just like an inevitability. But I've always been the caregiver type. If anybody can relate to always kind of falling into that same pattern of roles, drop that in the comments. But I never knew what my actual purpose was. And I say that in that it wasn't that I didn't know that I wanted to care for other people, or that I didn't know kind of what I enjoyed doing, right? Because I think we all have something that we enjoy doing and something that we can make money at, right? Anybody relate to that? And money is what pays the bills and all of that, but it's different than a passion. So I am passionate about helping other people. I'm passionate about helping other people find what makes them feel good. So like I was saying yesterday in a live, or I think maybe in my stories, I was talking about how I helped my mom rearrange her office. Her office had sort of become the dumping ground in her house, had become sort of the dumping ground for everything. It was where the boxes ended up. It was where other things ended up. And I've been in that place before, where a room or a space has become sort of just where everything lands. And because a door can be closed, you kind of just, that's where it all ends up. But if you have to work in that space, it can be very stressful. And so I walked by it on Saturday afternoon, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go change, and we're going to clean up your office. She was like, okay. And so we did. We cleaned up the office, cleaned out a bunch of things, and sort of rearranged it so it's more functional. And I could see the relief on her face. And I was like, this is something I enjoy. I enjoy helping other people feel relief and feel organized and feel like they can move forward. Can anybody relate to that? Can anybody relate to helping somebody find a way to move forward, either on a journey, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual? Like, can anybody relate to that? And I feel like I've done that even in other roles. I've helped people from a mentorship perspective in leadership. I've helped them try to identify what's the path they're looking to take. Because I think in a lot of ways, as a society, we're kind of taught, go to school, get a degree, go into a field that you can make money. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. Once you've started on that path, definitely don't diverge from it, heaven forbid, and, keep going. We're not often told to kind of like really stop and think about, what do we love? And I think about, for example, my cousin who decided she wasn't going to go to college. She wanted to go to beauty school. And she's incredibly successful. And I am so proud of her. And she's phenomenal at what she does. But like, I can remember, because I started babysitting her from birth, I can remember when she was like 2 and 3 years old and she was doing doll's hair. She's always loved it. So, of course, it's something that she's good at because she's passionate about it. She enjoys what she does. So, that whole concept of like finding something that you love and making a living doing something you love, people will say, oh, that sounds nice. But it genuinely is possible. You just have to identify what that is and then build the skill set around it. So that was essentially what I kind of decided to come on and talk about, was building a skill set around the things that you love. So if you find a passion in life, can anybody speak, like if you can think back to being a kid when there was no rules, right? When you were a kid, think back to when you were young and you would pretend to be working or pretend to be doing something. What did you envision yourself as? Because I think everybody says, when I grow up, I want to be X, right? And that changes. One day it could be, I want to be an astronaut. The next day it could be, I want to be, a fireman. The next day it could be, I want to be a teacher. There's all these different things, right? And sometimes it's shaped by the people around us and the people we interact with, and other times it's shaped by what we see. But what did you dream of as a kid being as an adult? Drop in the comments if you can remember what you dreamed of being as an adult. I can tell you, I can remember being a kid and pretending to teach. I didn't want to be a teacher, though, in the traditional sense. And I value every single one of my friends who's a teacher. I have a lot of friends that are teachers. But I knew I didn't want to teach in like the primary school setting. But I did want to teach in a college setting. And I did that. And I enjoyed it tremendously. And then I was able to transition that or translate that into teaching in a professional setting as like continuing education or onboarding and stuff. And I've continued to be able to help others to do that. And so I really did take something that I enjoyed as a kid and married that into different pieces of jobs I've had. When I look back at the jobs I've had over the course of my life, I've always been the fixer. I've always been the one who was like kind of called in to fix something or clean something up. And even if I wasn't asked to, I did. I've always been the organizer. And I was joking with my mom this weekend when I cleaned out the office, because she was like, oh my God, you're like obsessive. Because I was, kind of nitpicking about a couple of things that I just wanted to get done and like really cleaned up. Because she was like, that can wait. I was like, no, while we're doing it, we're going to do it. And I said, really, it's your fault, because I think I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. And my room was an abomination. I mean, an absolute abomination. If you can think back to being a kid or watching your own kids have an abomination in their room, like it looks like something probably could die in there, that was my room. Like a bomb went off and that's what my room looked like. And I remember my mom putting up like one of the gates for the dogs in my doorway and being like, you're not coming out until the room is clean. And I remember sitting on the floor crying and just going through piles of papers that I had shoved into like pieces of the desk and the closet, and just like cleaning the room and like purging out of that room. And it never again happened, because I never wanted to be in that situation again. And ever since then, I don't allow that to happen. So like if there's piles somewhere, they can be there for a little bit of time and then I have to get rid of them, or they stress me out. It actually creates anxiety to have clutter around me. And for most people, to be fair, like science has shown that clutter actually creates anxiety, whether you recognize that in yourself or not. So but I enjoy the feeling I get when I've accomplished cleaning something up and cleaning something out and organizing it, whether it's for me or for somebody else. If you can agree with that, drop like a broom below or something like that. So again, passion, purpose, like your purpose or your passion can be any number of things. It doesn't have to be a grand scale thing. So when I say think back to what you enjoyed as a kid or things that you've enjoyed over time, look back at anything you've ever done. Look back at your favorite parts of your job, not even the totality of it, but what pieces of your jobs or your roles have you enjoyed the most? Write those down and see where there's commonalities, because I bet you'll find the commonalities are something that you're passionate about and that you've probably been passionate about your whole life if you really think about it. So that was what I really came on to share, was identifying a passion doesn't have to be very difficult. It can actually be very, it can be fun to kind of explore, and wanted to give you some ideas of how to do that. Also wanted to share a spider story. So just before I came in here to do this, I went into my kitchen. I went down actually towards my garage to put something in my garage, and was thinking, oh, I don't know where that daddy long legs that I saw yesterday ended up. I wonder where it ended up. Backtrack a few years, well, I guess like 20 years now. I lived in New Hampshire. I lived in this little, well, it was a little apartment, 2-room apartment, pretty big 2-room apartment, but anyway, small space. But it was sort of in a wooded area. It was an old house that was converted into like 5 or 6 apartments. My landlords were amazing. And I had daddy long legs all the time. And I used to talk, I lived alone. I talked to them. I used to say to them, like, as long as you stay above me, I'm only like 5'2" on my best day. As long as you stay above my head, you can live there in the crook of my ceiling. But if you come down in my face, like, we're done. That's the rule. And I think those spiders understood me. They pretty much stayed up above me, and we just lived, we cohabitated. So I pretty much said the same thing to this spider yesterday in my garage. So I said this as I went down the stairs. I was like, oh, I wonder what happened to that spider. Fast forward about 5 minutes, I came upstairs to go into the kitchen to grab another water because I'm rebooting, so I wanted to hydrate and grab some more prickly pear because this is now a new obsession. And I turn around from the fridge, and there is said daddy long legs. And I was like, oh, buddy, not allowed. You're like at eye level, below eye level, actually. You're almost on the ground. We have to go outside because it was right near my slider. So I was like, okay, we're gonna work our way outside. We're gonna go outside. Did not cooperate with me to go outside. Now I have no idea where he is. So until I find him, I won't be able to sleep, for the record. Not because daddy long legs hurt you or anything, but just because spiders freak me out. And so that's my spider story. So don't try to shoo a daddy long legs out the door unless they're right next to it. And don't assume that because you closed the door that has a seal that they didn't get under it. Lessons from a short person for the day. But really the lesson is about finding your passion. So hopefully a little bit of what I said today might help guide you towards identifying what your passion is if you don't know what it is, or help you to see that you're actually working within your passion zone, like your strength zone. I will probably do a quick podcast on this later and kind of reiterate some of this into my podcast. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, drop some hearts below, comment below, share this out to others. I would love to see you share it out to people that you think might benefit, and let me know what else you'd like to hear about. So happy Monday, everybody. A little bit of motivation for your Monday, a little bit of mindset for your Monday, and I'll see you again later. Bye.